Hello everyone, Morgan here. So today we're going to be talking about how to store several different types of fuels. So I'm just going to dive right into it. The first one, gas. So how do you store gas? Gas can be stored safely for up to 1 year. With a stabilizer, it can last up to that 1 year, okay? So gas on its own will probably only last maybe a few months. But if you add the stabilizer, it can last up to 1 year. And really, that is the max shelf life. You can't just keep adding the stabilizer to it. Without a stabilizer, it can only last a few months. And to use the stabilizer, I actually have a video down below and I'm going to link here about how to use that. Now you can store the gas in a shed or a garage. The warmth is okay, though some do recommend no more than 80 degrees. But it has been in our garage and shed in higher temps. But if you are going to keep it in those higher temps, really keep it out of the direct sunlight. That's really where you're going to go wrong there. So keep it in a well-ventilated place. Place the containers on pieces of wood or cardboard instead of directly on the concrete. And then keep away, of course, from any ignition sources. So how to store propane? Propane is a really easy thing to store. You just get the propane tanks and you just plop it outside and you stored it. No, I'm kidding. So propane tanks can be stored outside, and it's a great thing about propane. They're in these tanks and it's safe, and the propane lasts in these tanks for freaking ever. Preferably, it should be in shade or under some sort of cover or things like that, so you're not degrading the tank. The more the tank degrades, the less stable the propane is inside of the tank. They can be stored inside of a garage or a shed. Propane tanks should be kept between 120 degrees Fahrenheit and negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And I can confirm that we had our propane tanks outside in negative 20 degrees and they were perfectly fine. Placed on a wood slab or some other sturdy surface. So how to store diesel? Diesel fuel can last between 1 to 2 years if kept in ideal conditions. Diesel lasts the longest when it's kept at around 70 to 80 degrees. You can use a stabilizer in diesel to help it last even longer. Diesel should be stored outdoors or in a shed away from rain, making sure to keep moisture out of it. So how to store wood? Wood is a fuel as far as I'm concerned. Wood should be kept in a dry area, covered away from the elements. You want to keep that wood as dry as possible. Keep the wood off of the soil. So if you put it on a wood slab or, concrete or elevate it off the ground somehow, even if you're storing it in a shed, try to keep it up off the ground directly. It's recommended that you keep all of your wood near your home for easy access, but not inside of your home and not so close to your home either, because, we're talking about bugs or other contaminations or anything like that. So, keep it kind of, easy-ish access. But then keep a smaller stack really close so that you can pull from that stack, take that stack over here, and then pull from et cetera, et cetera. So, but not inside of your home. Only bring in enough wood into your home for that day or evening, that kind of thing. So that's why you have a stack on your deck that you're going to pull from to bring in for the day or the evening or something like that. And then you have the stack way over there that you pull to come over here, and then you pull from there to go, okay. Allow for proper circulation by keeping it, again, off the ground and away from the walls. Only cover if the wood is dry, and if there's a chance of wet or moist wood, keep the tarp off for a while. But if it is dry wood, we do want to make sure that we're keeping it away from moisture the best that we can and out of the elements. So kerosene, a lot of people store kerosene, especially for, the lights and things like that. So kerosene can be stored in its original bottle in an outdoor space away from direct sunlight. Such as in a garage or shed. The ambient temperature isn't as big of a deal, but absolutely keep it out of direct sunlight. No direct sunlight, okay? Direct sunlight will degrade the fuel. It will actually literally degrade it. It won't explode or anything, but it'll degrade it. Most recommend trading out the kerosene after about a year. So, you want to use it, trade it out, be consistent in using and restocking, that kind of thing. But it will still work even after that year time. It may just be not as efficient as it once was within that 1 year period. And it may be more difficult to light. So you just have to keep that in mind. But try to rotate it every year. Generally, people will say that the absolute max shelf life is after 5 years. And after the 5-year point, it really just starts breaking down past the point of being a usable fuel. So after a year, it starts to degrade a little bit and it becomes difficult to light. But even after that 5-year point, it's just like, I've had it, okay? So it'll be difficult. It may be a little difficult to light, and it starts degrading between, after the 1 year part, and then by that 5-year part, we're about done there. So if you have any other questions, of course, I didn't talk about alcohols and some other things that could be considered fuels, but these are like I would say the top fuels that most preppers talk about when we're talking about fuel sources, and that's those kinds of things. I didn't talk about heating oil or pellets or anything like that, but with pellets, I do want to say definitely keep in a super dry spot. Those cannot get wet. I mean, those just straight up won't work if they're any type of moisture, so keep those in as dry a spot as possible. And then with heating oil, that's going to be a lot like storing diesel because it technically is diesel. Okay. So yeah, heating oil is kind of like storing diesel, but you may not want to store too much of it, but you can store an extra bit of it for that extra heating. But usually with heating oils, if you are heating your home with heating oil, you usually have a giant tank underneath your home somewhere that you're filling. So as long as that's full and you know how long it can take you through the year, just try to keep it full and consistently have it full. All right, thank you all so much for watching Conquer Tomorrow by Preparing Today. Please take a look at my blog post that goes over this, and if you want to print this out for future use, as well as a video about how to use the stabilizer in gasoline. Thank you all so much for watching Conquer Tomorrow by Preparing Today. Talk to you later. Bye.